Some super teams are built through the draft.
Splash Brothers? Yup. Cavaliers? Nope.
And some are built through free agency.
Not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, not 7.
And some are built because a rookie couldn't help but share a video of his teammate bragging about cheating on his pop star girlfriend.
I wouldn't consider this a prank or anything I wanted anybody else to see.
I'm Zach Schwartz, and this is how a single Snapchat altered the fabric of the NBA.
NBA star Nick Young was heard discussing relations he's had with other women.
Let's go back to April of 2016. The Warriors were on their way to winning the most games in NBA history, and Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook didn't know it yet, but were playing their final season together. In Los Angeles, Kobe Bryant was on a farewell tour that would get capped off with a 60-piece against Utah. Now, we all remember that 60-piece, but we forget that weeks earlier, the single worst bro code violation in recent NBA memory occurred.
This just got in the wrong hands. From my eyes, his eyes only.
D'Angelo Russell is a promising young piece of the Lakers' future. He wasn't exactly the next Kobe, as he lacked the seriousness the Mamba had, but D'Lo fit in with the team's new goofball mentality, a team that prominently featured Nick Young. Swaggy P's celebrity status had never been higher than it was in that moment. Here he was, an LA kid playing for the Lakers, dating singer Iggy Azalea. You know Iggy from her song Fancy and her devastating freestyle. D'Lo and Nick Young had a fun big bro little bro dynamic where they would constantly prank each other. One prank went a little too far. One afternoon, a video leaked to Twitter of Nick Young laying on his bed in his hotel room being secretly filmed by D'Angelo. D'Lo asked Nick who's the youngest girl he was talking to, and Nick said 19.
He was 30, she was 19?
Those legs for days, so now
Now, Iggy is not 19. If we're being honest, the video is damning, but it isn't that bad. I mean, Khloe Kardashian has taken Tristan Thompson back a dozen times. So is Nick an asshole? Yeah, probably. But he's not red table talk level of asshole. Iggy Azalea acknowledged the video, saying, "I see D'Angelo is trending. I like the film. Thanks, bro." I don't think she really liked the film. Now, how would this moment go on to shape the NBA as we know it today? At the time, the Lakers valued D'Angelo and saw him as one of the best pieces for their future. After the snitch incident, the Lakers players would punish D'Lo by not passing the ball, which is awesome. Like, if you told one of your friend's girlfriends about him cheating on her and then went and played pickup, he'd still probably pass you the ball. But here in an NBA game where they're being paid millions of dollars, they're like, nah, that guy, we're not passing the ball no matter how open he is. The most wild part of it all is that the toxic workplace environment would remain for another season. The Lakers were dog water again. After the season, things would finally begin to shift. The Lakers would let Nick Young leave in free agency to go sign with the Warriors. Meanwhile, the Lakers would part ways with D'Angelo Russell, using his cheap rookie contract and bright upside to help shed the horrific contract that gambling addict and real-life Fredo Corleone, Jim Buss, gave to Timothy Mozgov. Timothy Mozgov. Just for a second, can we appreciate how f***ing stupid Jim Buss is? The second free agency opened, the Lakers gave Timothy Mozgov 4 years, $62 million, and effectively took themselves out of the running for any good free agents. F*** you, Jim Buss. I'm glad your sister fired you. All right, I blacked out for a second. Where did we leave off? The Lakers sent D'Lo and Maz to Brooklyn for Brook Lopez in the 27th pick. That pick would become Kyle Kuzma. But why were the Lakers so keen to get this diarrhea contract off the books? The real reason the Lakers dumped Mozgov was because they knew they needed financial freedom for the summer of 2018, when LeBron James would be a free agent and eventually choose to sign with the Lakers. So if D'Angelo Russell hadn't worn out his welcome with the Lakers may not have been willing to part ways with Russell, and it would have never given them the space to go out and get LeBron James to come to LA. So for those keeping score, D'Lo takes the vid of Nick Young. Nick leaves to go play for the Warriors and gets himself a ring. The Lakers choose to move on from D'Lo and ultimately get themselves the cap space to sign LeBron and eventually trade for AD, who then get them a ring. So yeah, Nick lost a fiance, but he still got a ring out of it.
Would you marry me? Would you marry me?
Yeah. The ripple goes further than just that. When D'Lo gets to Brooklyn, he is surprisingly good, and so are the Nets. Good enough, in fact, that they would attract the services of Kyrie Irving. The only problem is Kyrie Irving doesn't want to play with no snitch. I'm just kidding, he just wants to play with someone much better. And that's where KD would come into play. D'Lo would be part of a sign-and-trade deal between Brooklyn and the Warriors. So after getting bullied out of LA and finally playing well in Brooklyn, D'Lo now becomes the piece that gets KD traded to Brooklyn. D'Angelo's sad journey as a trade pawn wouldn't end there. The Warriors would ship him to Minnesota, where he'd finally get to play with someone who likes him, his friend Karl Anthony Towns. The Warriors would receive Andrew Wiggins, who has been fine as part of the Warriors, but is being paid too much and isn't good enough to help them compete for anything other than lottery slots in the draft. One Snapchat of a man talking about banging a 19-year-old led to rings for Nick Young, LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and the Lakers organization. It led to Kevin Durant and Kyrie landing in Brooklyn, the eventual collapse of the Warriors, and their possible resurrection, all while D'Angelo Russell plays basketball with his friend on a team that plays in the middle of nowhere and will never win a title or sniff the playoffs. So, if you're a fan of the Nets, Warriors, or Lakers, be glad that D'Angelo Russell is a shitty friend.
It's the ultimate violation, and I would be shocked if he found one teammate anywhere who trusted him again for years to come.
I would agree.
If you enjoyed what you just saw and want to know more weird NBA stories, make sure to like and subscribe to stay up to date for more content just like this.